So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about our next zombies map, which we should be getting very soon as a part of season 3, I think it is. I can't even remember what season we're on right now, but in a week or two near to the end of April is when our next zombies map is coming, and we know the location of it is Berlin. It could also possibly be including parts of Kino Der Toten, but that's just rumours. It does make sense they both take place in the same location, and it also makes sense because if we look at Weaver's computer screen, we were shown this all the way back in the beginning for the D Machine intro, but on these screens in front of him we have multiple locations. There is Morasco, Poland, Vietnam, Russia, the Ural Mountains, and Berlin, all locations of our zombies maps, and if you search this place up, it is right next to Kino, so that could be featuring just like Nacht appeared in D Machine in the Berlin map. Getting into what we know about it though, I'm going to be covering all of the details that we have, all of the intel documents, audio logs, everything about Berlin. Over the past week or two as a part of Season 2 Reloaded, Treyarch added in some brand new intel that I haven't gone over yet, so let's take a look. First thing we have is a radio transmission from someone called Mayer, and he's attempting to contact Weaver, trying to warn him about Valentina's presence in Berlin.
Weaver, this is Mayer, Berlin Station Chief. Urgent question. Did you get the memorandum I submitted on Saturday? If so, why is there still no response? Forgive me, but I do not think anyone at Langley grasps the seriousness of the situation. Dr. Valentina is here, in Berlin. The city is divided. East and west are nose to nose here. If she does something drastic, the consequences could go global. In the worst possible way. Just please advise how best to proceed. Personally, I'd like a Requiem strike team en route here right now, but I leave that decision to you.
Now, as you just heard, for some reason, Mayer can't get through to Weaver. He isn't responding, but he's worried about why Valentina is in Berlin. He says, did you get my memorandum I submitted on Saturday? If so, why is there still no response? And the memorandum he's talking about is this one. It is called Berlin Comment, and it reads, Sir, I am writing to alert you that we have recently intercepted communications between Dr. Alexandra Valentina of the KGB Omega Group and a suspected operative here in West Berlin. We have done our best to track her movements and activities since she arrived in East Berlin last week. While we are still trying to determine the precise purpose of her visit, the contents of this intercept support our suspicion that Omega is setting up a major operation here in the US occupied sector of the city. The transcript is as follows, and it's also translated from German. Valentina, need update on site. Unknown contact. Readings confirm membrane permeable. Has date been determined? Valentina, this is not up to me. Just keep your people ready to mobilize. Unknown contact. Acknowledged. However, some starting to question if this is even possible. Valentina, eliminate the doubters, no margin for error. Ground must be prepared. Unknown contact, understood. We will make an example of them. Valentina, good, but do so quietly. Do not lose element of surprise. We are currently working to identify Valentina's contact, but cannot match with any known Omega or KGB asset. I will keep you advised of our progress. Heinrich Mayer, Berlin Station Chief. So this memorandum was sent to Weaver, but as we were told, he hasn't replied. Whether he's seen it or not, we don't know, but it's serious. There is also another audio log, this one's called Focal Point, again from Heinrich Mayer, where in this we can hear he's trying to track Valentina, observe her, see what she's up to, and this is also just before the point where they intercept her communications with the unknown contact.
This is Heinrich Mayer, Station Chief, Berlin, Office of Requiem. Weaver, we have a developing situation over here. Reliable human places Dr. Alexandra Valentina of KGB Spetsnaz Omega Group here in West Berlin. She was observed scouting several locations in the city. Objective unknown. This is very distressing, to say the least. Dr. Valentina is directly involved with Omega's interdimensional research. If she is here expecting or intending for something to happen, Weaver, we have been very fortunate so far that most of Omega's operations have been in remote, rural areas. Berlin, on the other hand, is the focal point of the Cold War. The world is always watching us. If they were to launch an op here, I have a team trying to intercept her communications. I will alert you should they succeed.
As to what the Omega Group are doing in Berlin, well, we have 3 different radios. These are from Valentina, Kulke and Dr. Peck, where we kind of get an idea of what could be going on. In this first audio log called Half of the Reason, well, let me just play it for you, then I'll go on to explain what it's about.
Is this everything? Surely there is more.
I assure you, Dr. Valentina, this is everything.
Research on membrane permutations? What about the particle distortion modules?
Everything you need on targeted dimensional breaching is there.
Otlично. Have it delivered to this address.
You're not taking it with you?
Is there a problem with my order?
No. I just thought...
Thinking is a dangerous thing, is it not, comrade? Have it delivered to the address. Make sure you are not discovered by Peck.
Believe me, he is half of the reason I am doing this.
And the other half?
Why, for the good of the motherland, of course.
Of course. For the motherland.
So we can figure from this conversation between Valentina and Kolke that part of the reason why they are in Berlin is to open up a dimensional breach, cause a zombie outbreak. She also mentions research on membrane permutations. Why Valentina chose Berlin specifically, we don't know, and from this next radio, she's kind of keeping it a secret. Berlin wasn't just a random location she's picked out, there is a specific reason, but that we aren't fully told.
I just returned from the Kremlin, where I presented the list of proposed targets for Operatia Inversia to the General Secretary and select members of the Committee for State Security. The results were mixed. I should be pleased that the overall plan was so well received. Perhaps they realized that without bold action the Soviet Union could collapse within a decade. And Inversia is nothing if not bold. It would be a death blow to the West, which may account for the committee's preference of two particular targets. But I pushed hard for Berlin. It would have afforded me further opportunities to complete my preparations there. The colonel did question my fixation on Berlin, but I just told him I hate the Germans. That is always enough of an excuse for veterans of the great patriotic war like Kravchenko.
She says the colonel, who is Krushenko, did question my fixation on Berlin, but I just told him I hate Germans. Why she's keeping this a secret? Obviously she has her own agendas, something she doesn't want Omega to know about. I'm thinking, well, we know that Kino Der Toten was a place where a lot of research went on to do with the undead with Group 935. Since Cold War Zombies takes place after Black Ops 4, it's a new universe but still a part of the old storyline. If Kino Der Toten is still standing, could previous work that Group 935 did be inside there? Could that be part of the reason why Valentina chose Berlin? Does she know about the past zombie outbreaks? Because no one else seems to, not even Samantha. Somehow has she found out about Group 935 and what they did. We've also been told about the Nazis gathering in the Dark Ether and how their plan, or should I say as a part of Hitler's plan during the end of World War II, was to get all of the remaining German soldiers to hide in the Dark Ether, and then one day when they have a big enough army, they'll escape and start a new world war. I don't think Valentina would be helping with that, surely. She's Russian, but she did admire what the Germans did back in 1945 at D Machine. Surely she isn't going to help them escape from the Dark Ether. And then the final radio I want to talk about, which could or could not relate to Berlin. This might be something we see as a part of the Outbreak Easter egg, which we know will be activated when Season 3 begins, but it's from Dr. Peck.
William Peck, supplemental notes. Well, it took a week and cost the lives of some brave young men, but we finally did it. We caught 4 of those floaty blue bastards alive. Okay, sure. By we, I mean the highly trained operators in Omega Group. I'm not exactly the field ops type. But they could never have locked down those lightning bugs without the gear I built for them. I mean, have you ever tried to cage something that can teleport? Now, one big help in this whole process is how attracted the blue guys are to the crystals. The big ones, the atmosphere converters. The purer the crystal, the more irresistible. I think that was the first tip-off that I could co-opt the way they metabolize Ethereum for my own purposes. Yeah, Sparky, I know it hurts, but you gotta take one for the team. We all serve a greater good now. And I promise, if Operatia Inversia stays on schedule, you won't be suffering for long.
So he tells us, whilst in the Ural Mountains, he's caught 4 Tempests, which are the floating Avogadro-like creatures, and from what I can gather, he's trying to harness their power. We know they can teleport, they can shoot out electricity. What he's going to use them for, maybe teleportation, maybe for a wonder weapon. Like I said, this could be something we see used in Outbreak for Season 3, or it could be featured in the Berlin map. So yeah, there we go. And one last thing I wanted to say, we were told in another radio, I've done a completely separate video on this, I will link it down in the description, but we were told in a radio, a conversation between Samantha and Weaver, that a boy is dead. Now we believe that boy to be Eddie. We haven't seen him so far in the storyline. The reason for that could be he is in fact dead. In the Berlin comment I showed you guys, Valentina is having a conversation with an unknown contact. The conversation they are having is in German, yet Valentina is Russian, which must mean that this unknown contact is German. Could it be that Eddie isn't in fact dead? Samantha and Weaver just think he is, when in reality he's not, and he's actually working with Valentina. If so, could we also be seeing him in Berlin? That's just a theory. Maybe he is dead, but with a character as big as Eddie, somehow I don't think they'd announce his death in a piece of intel. Anyway, there we go. Season 2 ends in just over a week, I think April the 21st, so Season 3 should also begin around about then. Because we are getting the Outbreak Easter egg at the beginning of Season 3, maybe we get the Berlin map halfway through in a Season 3 Reloaded, or it could be a week after, but it should definitely come in the next season. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, drop me a like rating, make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.